where I'm starting with all of this though is certainly, yeah, the microtransactions were one of the biggest killers to Halim. I agree. He says microtransactions ruined gaming. It's been one of the biggest pains in the asses for a lot of people, and now it's just become such a I have no way of really putting it decently, so I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So yes, I'm going to start off with Xbox here. They are the ones that are certainly showing some interesting spots, and I'll start with Mr. Medicare here, Moshimon on X, as he refers to himself here. But it says it takes a real next level of psychotic to say shit is too expensive, and the very next day raise prices by over $100. So here you see the tweet. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma says gaming is becoming unaffordable for players. She blames rising costs, competing subscriptions, and the attention economy. And then we're gonna get, and that's gonna be the next thing we're gonna, because I found the tweet from Xbox of their updated console prices, and it's not very clear even in here. So I think this, because there's this other thing to it all, is that not only that you see raises console prices again, but then they discontinue also a 2 terabyte series of the Xbox Series X, probably just because it would be stupid ridiculously priced. But yeah, so from Dexerto here, Xbox raises console prices again and discontinues 2 terabyte. Microsoft has announced another worldwide price increase for Xbox consoles, marking the second major hardware price hike in less than a year, as the company points to soaring component costs. With all this going on, I can only hope beyond hope that somehow, sometime, somewhere, there's going to be a crash in the AI market, in all these component prices and stuff like that. I can only hope. Do I depend on that? No, because it would not surprise me if this is now just the continued problem and we are just full on screwed when it comes. We are getting priced out of our own hobby that a lot of us were around here to, put money into, support and build up. And now we are effectively getting the boot. How anybody else is going to be affording some of this stuff, I have no clue. It's beyond me. But the new pricing takes effect on August 1st, 2026. With the 512 gigabyte Xbox console increasing by $100 and 1 terabyte models rising by $150 worldwide. Microsoft also confirmed it is discontinuing its 2 terabyte console model. The latest increase comes after Microsoft raised Xbox console prices in the US between $20 and $70 in October 2025. According to the company, it had hoped to avoid another increase, but said rising storage and memory costs have made that impossible. And you wonder just how much of this is legitimate and how much of it is just the inflation of the AI and just, or just like it's just manufactured. Like they're just, there's a part of me that is just like, how much of this is legitimately like a concern and how much of this is just them making this up, making excuses, telling tales just to have the excuse of raising prices on their consoles. Because like a lot of people have been saying though, what generation of console is it where it's been now, instead of decreased prices, we've got increased prices, especially as we've gone further along. It's just gotten ridiculous. Microsoft says memory storage costs have more than doubled. In its announcement, Microsoft said console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times and are expected to double again by the fall of 2027. Quote, the entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current component crisis, but the effects are particularly hard on consoles, the company said. Microsoft added that unlike smartphones, computers, and other consumer electronics, game consoles are typically sold below the cost of manufacturing, with companies making up the difference through software and services. Now, if only you had some software and services that worth a damn to each of your consoles. Instead, you've got these mandates for some, Microsoft in particular, that does have the mandate of that you cannot have attractive female characters in your games. Or not, I guess not a mandate. I believe it's more of a guideline that I've seen floating around. But when you don't provide, what's the point? And I'm sorry, like I'm I'm sick and tired of. I got sick and tired of the whole yearly subscriptions and stuff like that. That was, I found, very annoying, and I certainly, I tapped out personally. I got through with it, and Microsoft did enough to piss me off with their Xbox One announcement that I walked away from, and then same with PlayStation. It was all everything to such a combined thing of fine. I am fucking done. Which also, again, reminds me I really need to get some air cans and service up my computer and make sure it's still staying in tip-top shape, because I'm gonna, with everything going on, I'm gonna need to make sure and keep this bad boy running. Tehillim wanted the 2 terabyte, I bet, especially with like their storage capacities being what they are for games. You got to make sure you have plenty of space. And I know I was wanting to get some extra external drives, but now I'm kind of screwed on that one because of all these costs that I just keep raising. I'd like wait for a seriously like good deal for one to come along to get anything like that. Tehillim also says they could have mass produced the 2 terabyte, dropped the price, and beaten Sony. Yeah. If they were really that dedicated to beating the competitions like they used to be, that would have been the route to take. Let's see. Alongside the price increases, Microsoft announced several new programs aimed at making Xbox hardware more affordable. Players purchasing eligible Xbox hardware through Microsoft stores will be able to use expand buy now, pay later options. I mean, it's more or less you are getting credit. Yeah, so Amazon customers will also have access to 0 APR financing for up to 12 months on eligible hardware purchases. So we're going to complete credit. I mean, how is it that game consoles are basically, by the sounds of this, because interest-free installments, this is more or less sounding like the way cell phones have been. You basically lease the phone, quote unquote, but they used to be you had 2-year plans, but now they say you're leasing the phone to try and obfuscate the idea that you aren't just on that 2-year contract, because yes, you do have some freedom and ability to also change your phone within those 2 years a little more easily. But that's basically all you're still doing, and that sounds like what we're almost going into with this. Is like it's gonna be, oh yes, you're gonna be on this on this payment plan for your games, consoles, hardware, and stuff like that. So in this instance, yeah, like the mobile phone market was kind of the oh god, look at the little sneak in for something like this. But anyway, Microsoft is also introducing previously played console programs with retail partners, allowing customers to trade in their existing Xbox console for cash or store credit. Those systems will then be resold at lower prices. What we already have through, that's already a thing through your mom and pop game stores. You just trade in and you can get refurbished consoles through them, or even if you want to go through GameStop, same thing. They have refurbs and all that. Last I knew. It's been a while since it's been a long time since I've stepped inside a GameStop. But yeah, this is all sounding so bizarre. And what the hell is even going on anymore, man? The company also highlighted its Xbox certified refurbished consoles, which are available through Microsoft stores up to $100 below MSRP. The announcement comes just one day after Rockstar confirmed GTA 6 will launch at $79.99 for the standard edition and $99.99 for the ultimate edition, with pre-orders now live ahead of the game's November release. Now the higher Xbox hardware prices mean players looking to buy both a new console and Rockstar's blockbuster will be paying even more to jump into one of the year's biggest releases. But like Nightmare said in a comment for when I clipped out, all this for what? Oh, hang on, let me get it specific. Let me quote him specifically here. Forget about it. Let's see. Hang on. Wow, I can't wait to not buy this. Yeah, I mean that was basically where I was at. Anyways, I booted back up GTA San Andreas, and I've been playing through some of that and having some fun. And I have it set up with retro achievements, so I've been earning achievements. So yeah, this is just kind of the start of all of this. because then I saw this from Vera Dark, who caught this Eurogamer. Xbox reportedly stopped signing third-party Game Pass deals, and she said, yeah, they've spent billions on these deals when they're trying to cut costs. This is a no-brainer. Microsoft spends $1 billion annually to get third-party games on Game Pass report, and I have that article right here. Oops. Okay. So yeah, Xbox reportedly stopped signing third-party Game Pass deals, but there's an update. I had spoken to a number of devs that had deals in various stages of negotiation as well. So there's going to be that. But yeah, so updated. This was updated on June 29th. So 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. I contacted Fernando Rizzo to see if I could find out more about what he shared on his podcast. In response, Rizzo said, quote, I definitely don't want to oversell what I know, not privy to any internal Microsoft conversations, but I had spoken to a number of devs that had Game Pass deals in various stages of negotiation who were told the deals were on hold. I don't personally think this is the death of Game Pass or anything, probably just a new CEO wanting to get her feet under the desk and everyone aligned on strategy before the Game Pass team starts cutting checks again. And the original, I don't know what BST is, I don't know, but anyways, the original story, Microsoft might have hit pause on signing any more third-party Game Pass deals, presumably is doing this while restructuring Xbox, as it's reported to be doing. But will it open the checkbook again after? The news comes from a former Raw Fury sales and business development officer, Fernando Rizzo, now a partner at game commercial advisory company Caboodle, talking on a podcast he co-hosts called The Business of Video Games, episode 59. Rizzo was at a trade show in Italy recently and heard that, quote, word on the street was that loads of people who were in the frame for Game Pass deals, i.e. nothing was inked yet, but the deals were in advanced discussions. Everybody got the rug pulled out from under them. I don't think the Game Pass is over, given that the new incoming leadership have talked a lot about Game Pass, Rizzo added. I think they're on pause. I think they're figuring it out. That's my read anyway. For the time being, it seems like Game Pass deals. We just did one at Caboodle earlier this year, and I get the feeling that we might have been one of the last ones that did. Xbox is currently being reset by new boss Asha Sharma, who took over February from Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. One of her first big moves was to significantly discount Game Pass, most notably dropping the Ultimate tier from 23 I'm guessing that's euros a month to 17. The trade-off being that Call of Duty would no longer be included from day one. But Game Pass seems to remain a key part of the business. The Xbox Summer Showcase in June consistently reiterated the Game Pass availability of games being shown, and as Xbox pivots back to exclusivity being important, some strong Game Pass signings could present an alluring attraction. Yeah, it seems like both, now that I'm PlayStation, Sony, they've talked about now going back to being exclusivity. Xbox is now doing this. It's kind of interesting. Now they're finally falling back to exclusivities. Let's see. Plans start at $9.99 a month for Xbox Game Pass. Premium, Ultimate. I could have, yeah, the Ultimate, at least that I'm seeing, at least for the, I guess the US here, is different, because here is how it's shown for me. You got the Essential, which is $9.99 a month. You got the 50 plus games playable on console, PC, and more devices. Premium, 200 plus games playable on console, PC, and more. New Xbox published game within 1 year of launch. Unlimited cloud gaming, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and you earn 2 times rewards. Let's go, guys. Ultimate, $22.99 a month. Now, I'm trying to remember the original price. I could have sworn Ultimate was like $14.99 a month. Let's see here. No, show me the original prices, you dingbat. Because like I said, I could have sworn maybe that is it then. Because I could have sworn Game Pass Ultimate was was the $14.99. I mean, I hate the month-to-month idea anyways, and so I guess I'm thinking the PC side here, PC only. Get the 300 plus games playable on PC only, new games on day one, EA Play benefits. But yeah, like I said, I could have sworn that was that one particular. Anyways, but Game Pass seems to remain a key part of the business. Xbox Summer Showcase in June consistently reiterated. Okay, I already read that. However, Xbox is also feeling the pressure to return to profitability after spending exorbitant amounts acquiring game studios, the biggest among them, Activision Blizzard, for an eye-melting $68.7 billion. Perhaps it's too expensive to keep paying out for third-party Game Pass games. Maybe it's more cost-effective to shrink the net and focus on access to homemade games instead. Meanwhile, most recently, Xbox substantially increased the price of its Xbox Series X consoles. New prices will come into effect now, so we've got into that. Yeah, it seems like with a lot of these whole changing of guards and stuff like that, you're seeing a lot of weird change. And I almost wonder too if like the whole price increase of the Game Pass was just seen as then a way for the next person to come in to then change that price and make them look good starting out. But that could just be my conspiracy theory brain talking. But this is, like I said, all of this is feeling so bizarre and weird of what's going on right now with the industry. I have one more. Yeah, so we got more big news for Xbox as Xbox lays off reportedly part of a wider Microsoft cuts. It looks like we'll be hearing about some big layoffs over at Xbox soon. We know that a major Xbox reset is currently ongoing in an array of Xbox studios like Ninja. So yeah, I saw this by Pirate Nation. Microsoft could reportedly shut down 4 Xbox studios if it can't find buyers for them, according to a new GamesBeat report, citing sources familiar with the company's plans. The studios named are Double Fine Productions, Undead Labs, who made State of Decay, Compulsion Games, South of Midnight, and Ninja Theory, who made Hellblade. And I want to say some other stuff that people were more hooked on than Hellblade. Anyways, GamesBeat says Microsoft is exploring the possibility of selling these studios to preserve jobs. If no buyers are found, the report claims the studios could be closed, putting around 435 jobs at risk. Double Fine about 100 jobs, Undead Labs 110, Compulsion Games about 90, and Ninja Theory about 135. The report also says Microsoft is expected to begin a new round of Xbox layoffs in early July following the end of the fiscal year. And that's where I believe this comes in. Within the next week or so, yeah, we should be finally seeing how bad all the layoffs are and what closures ultimately end up taking place. According to Business Insider, thousands of job roles throughout sales and consulting, as well as the Xbox gaming division, are affected. While last year, Xbox saw a substantial number of layoffs in May and July, this year it is predicted to be a smaller number, which is at the very least a silver lining. Yes. Of the company's 220,000 person workforce, it's projected that fewer than 2.5% will be laid off. If we do say that it will be a hard 2.5%, that equates to around 5,500 employees. Ouch. Which shows just how many people are likely going to be impacted by Microsoft's layoffs. Business Insider says we can expect to hear from Microsoft next week about the layoffs, but that could change. Some of the affected employees will be given new roles immediately, keeping them safe from being laid off. Sadly, that won't be the case for a majority of individuals. It's a weird time at the moment at Xbox. While Asha Sharma has done a lot of good, quote unquote, time in the current situation is worrying. Reports are claiming that Arcane Studios may close and Blade could be canceled. On another note, Xbox has recently pulled funding for IO Interactive's Project Fantasy RPG, which may have a knock-on effect for layoffs at the studio. It's very unfortunate for anybody that's potentially going to be losing their jobs. That's never a good position to be in for anybody, and especially an economy like it is right now. And the only thing that I can think when it comes to this, with all of this happening, because this isn't Xbox as big as they are, I mean, like it is, I'd say the big four: Microsoft, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Steam, Valve. I'd say, those are probably the big four of gaming right now. There are some up and comers. I'd say I would like to see what's going to happen with GOG, see how they're going to come along, especially now that they're kind of they're now kind of cut loose a little bit from CD Projekt Red. The thing that I see though with all of this is that I can't help but wonder if this is part of just the gaming industry as a whole has just over bloated itself now, and now there's some kickback. It's grown so big so quick, and maybe not so quick, but I mean, because it's been around for quite some time now, but it did hit a big boom, and it got bigger, and now it's finally, I think, seeing some effects. I think I kind of said this earlier, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I am starting to wonder if this is kind of some early signs, because I mean, it's not just Xbox here that's been doing a lot of layoffs. Even game companies, and I think even like Sony and stuff like that, they've had their share of layoffs and everything. I'm just really kind of curious if this could mean we are heading to a bit of a gaming crash. But there's still that part of me that just makes me think that it's just too big to fail. Yeah, we're going to see some dings here and there, but is it going to mean anything really significant in the end? I don't know. Because, I mean, like it is, here's the word on the whole reset over on GameSpot here. Amid Xbox reset, Microsoft is having its worst month in 26 years. Microsoft's stock price is sliding, the most ever on a percentage basis since December 2000. Microsoft's stock price is currently down bad, but just how much have shares slid lately? A lot. So much so that June 2026 is expected to be Microsoft's worst month since December 2000, based on percent decline in a single month. The stock is down about 20% in June, which would be the worst since the 24% decline in December 2000. This is happening at the same time that Xbox CEO Asha Sharma is implementing a reset of the Xbox business that may include mass layoffs and studio closures, which we already kind of covered just now. A year ago, Microsoft's total market cap was around $4 trillion, but has dropped off mightily since then, falling more than 25% in the past year to around $2.7 trillion. Oh no. But why is Microsoft stock falling while the company continues to grow revenue and beat Wall Street estimates? One theory is that Microsoft is spending a lot of money on capital expenditures as part of its huge AI-based infrastructure build-out. This negatively affects free cash flow, putting limits on how much Microsoft can pay in dividends and spend on stock buybacks, both of which investors normally like to see. How does Xbox factor in? And that's the main part we're kind of here for. Xbox's struggle of late have been well documented, and in response, Sharma is putting Xbox through a quote-unquote reset that is expected to result in major changes that include layoffs, studio closures, and game cancellations. We could learn more about these plans soon, as Microsoft's fiscal year ends today, June 30th, and that's the timeline some have reported regarding when changes could be announced. Windows Central reported that Microsoft CFO Amy Hood is driving the upcoming cuts at Xbox. The report said she has, quote, demanded a variety of savings at Xbox to offset losses. Microsoft is a gigantic company, one of the largest on earth, and Xbox is just one part of the overall business. It remains to be seen if the changes coming to Xbox would move the needle in any way with regards to Microsoft's stock price. The human cost of the forecasted Xbox cuts could be severe, with Microsoft reportedly looking to close beloved developers and cut staff. Recently, Sharma confirmed that Xbox's accountability margins only amount to a 3% profit, which isn't exactly great considering how Microsoft has invested billions of dollars in acquiring studios and publishers in recent years. Yeah, but when you acquire these things, and I understand kind of keeping an eye on creatives, because if you don't, they kind of go a little bonkers and want to make the game that'll break the world. Look at something like freaking Star Citizen. That bloated mess of a budget, where also then they took a lot of the money that people put in and upgraded their offices with giant automatic doors and crap like that. But I mean, people still apparently are in that game. But you know, like it is, you get creatives. They need sometimes the Tard Wrangler, as it were, to keep them on point into doing certain things. And I saw that in particular with like the System Shock 1 remake. They wanted to then really expand Citadel Station and go way bonkers with it. And it's just called, no, bring it down. Calm down. But, you know, you also need to let there be some creativity going. Let them develop and tell a story, create the characters that they want to create, and see what happens, instead of like there's a lot of mandates within the industry that they have to follow. You gotta follow, no, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it that way, these characters gotta look this way or that way. And you know, some of it is probably just, you know, self done by the developers themselves, but at the same time, just let them do. I guess just all I can say is kind of let them create the games and make sure they stay on point on budget. But otherwise, like, you know, just kind of keep them going. And then if they are going to develop a good game, then it'll show in return. Negative, quote unquote, you know, review bombing or whatever aside, if a game is good, and people will go to it one way or another. And yeah, sometimes a name does help, but also like there needs to be a little more risk taken. And I think if you allow that to take place, instead of just trying to keep things safe, keep reusing IPs, then yeah, you are going to see this negative return. I mean, Xbox got to this point for a particular reason, but as it stands, their flagships titles like Halo, Gears of War have significantly fallen off over time. Except, everybody get hyped for that Halo remake. Let's go. Can't wait for Melee Games to be playing that. Melee James in particular. Can't wait for him to enjoy the greatest remake on the face of the earth, on the best console of PlayStation. Let's go. But I mean, look at it. Like, Nintendo is probably the only one that still has their flagship characters still on their console, exclusively on their console. PlayStation originally had Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. They lost those. I remember Crash Bandicoot being basically the flagship and mascot for PlayStation back in the day. I remember those commercials. I remember there's still some of that shit talking going on. And Microsoft, had Master Chief, Halo. That's kind of their flagship for their mascot for their system. But now it's going to be going over to PlayStation with the remake, and it's been, I mean, the PC side, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily call that, just because it's Microsoft as a whole anyways, and it's on a Windows platform. As far as I know, it didn't go over to Mac, so that's a weird area right there. But you know, like it is still though, it's not just Xbox, not just on the Xbox console. It's been other places, so it does become. And I know I've gotten into back and forth with like Nerdy Neo and stuff, because he very much has been in the comments going, well, no, isn't it good to give people options to play on all the different systems? Yes, but like I also argue is that where is it then that, you know, the incentive to go to one console or the other if you can just go anywhere else? And especially for in this regards, as we're talking, it can sometimes mean more profit if they're selling more games on all the systems, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like I want to say like they want to keep it exclusively to them, so it's just because if you are, I imagine that with these certain deals, like if they're going on to other consoles, then that means there's still a split revenue. So some of it goes to PlayStation, some may go to the home base, and that could be also then dependent on the deals they cut with this. But you know, it's still just called, you know, why go to one thing over another? People go to Nintendo because yes, it's kind of the family console. It's known for that, but also it's got the Mario, it's got the Zelda, it's got. I mean, I'm trying. Mario's is the biggest, but Mario, Donkey Kong, Zelda, and now, I mean, recently we got the return of Star Fox, and my brain is blanking, but I know like they've had plenty of other titles. There's like the Animal Crossing, which has been a big one. Pokemon especially. Holy crap, I can't believe I almost forgot Pokemon. So I mean, that's like the direct. If you want to play those particular games, that's where you have to go. I don't know. This has all just been kind of crazy. The return on investment is not looking good, especially when games are becoming more expensive and are sold to a much smaller player base when compared to the PS5 and Nintendo Switch. While recent Game Pass price hikes saw millions canceled, that is, you know, I normally rag on gamers in general. Excuse me. It's because of their inability to actually like step away and maybe, in a sense, boycott something. But I mean, if millions of people cancel their memberships, good on y'all for actually doing that. The only time I really used the membership as of late is if I'd gotten it technically for free through something, but otherwise I stopped subscribing to Game Pass a long time ago. Reporter Jason Schreier reminded people that a business with 3% margins, which means for every $100 made, the company spends $97 and keeps $3, could be doing just fine. However, he pointed out that some Microsoft's other businesses have 40% plus margins, which in turn makes it more challenging to convince higher ups to invest in Xbox or invest in a business like Xbox. One possibility for the future of Xbox is having it get spun out from Microsoft, but it remains to be seen if that will actually happen. Keep checking back with GameSpot for more. That will be a curiosity, because I've been seeing some kind of word floating around of that happening, but that could just be also the companies that they are trying to sell off. Because I thought I was also saying like selling off, you know, selling off Xbox itself, but I might have just gotten that jumbled up and been like I said, mixing things up with the companies that they're trying to get rid of right now. So like I said, this has all been very interesting, getting kind of caught up on what's been going on with Xbox, seeing them in a weird spot that, you know, you almost didn't think you would kind of see. But you know, we've had the big, let's say for the consoles, the big three now. I mean, it once was Nintendo and Sega, and look what happened to Sega, unfortunately. Xbox, I don't know if we are seeing Xbox maybe going the way of Sega. Could it be Sony? Because I feel like Nintendo is still just going to keep chugging along, especially now how they're expanding in different mediums. Not only have they now had some decently successful couple of movies for Mario, but then now they have the whole Universal Studios Mario World, Nintendo World, or whatever set up for themselves. So I could only see Nintendo still hanging around, despite my own, you know, kind of deciding to stay away from the Switch 2 and everything. I mean, they're still, as far as I know, selling consoles, selling those games. Pokepia apparently has been a big one for people, but you know, it's just then with Sony, who it's really curious. We all saw when they made the choice to either open or put a headquarters or move the headquarters to California. For some, that was a particular death nail. And I mean, with their movie games, you've been seeing, at least to some of our perspectives, that change occurring, which is unfortunate considering, you know, PlayStation once had some great consoles. PlayStation 2, I think, was probably their peak. It has such an incredible library. But with Xbox here, it's going to be a curiosity to see where things will go for them. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching this clip from Respawn Roast Cantina. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, and check out the full episode.